In the short history of the United States of America, the nation has been involved in many conflicts. During these wars, there have been countless battles, all of them significant to some extent, but these are the 10 most noteworthy. Number 10. The Battle of Incheon Korean War. This battle led to the UN invasion of North Korea, which resulted in the formation of an alliance between the Chinese and the North Koreans. In addition, the conflict allowed access to Gimpo Airfield, which was the largest airbase in Korea, and it also kept the North Koreans from forcing peace on the South Korean government. Finally, it reversed the strategic power of the war in favor of the United Nations, leading to the recapture of Seoul and what was been lost of South Korea in the weeks that followed. Number 9. The Tet Offensive, Vietnam War. Moral and civil defeat for the US, the Tet Offensive greatly shocked the American public, who believed that the North Vietnamese were incapable of launching an attack of such magnitude. American casualties reached a high point during the offensive, with 2,500 wounded soldiers adding to the 540 deaths, for a total casualty count higher than any other week for the entire war. Media coverage of the battle introduced the public to the horrors of the Vietnam War, further pitting many against it. However, it was a strategic victory for the United States in South Vietnam, as the North Vietnamese forces deployed were devastated by the battle's end, leaving only about half of the original 90,000 troops deployed. Number 8. The Battle of Trenton, American War for Independence. A successful battle for the Patriots that occurred on the night of Christmas following Washington's crossing of the Delaware. The Hessians encamped in New Jersey were taken by surprise and defeated quickly, with few casualties for Washington's army. The battle boosted revolutionary morale, and after an unsuccessful year on the battlefield. In addition, it ended the year on a positive note for the Patriots, largely crushing the threat of the Hessian army. Number 7. The Battle of the Bulge, World War II. The Battle of the Bulge was the last offensive by the Third Reich during the Second World War. German military strength was decimated, as a great deal of German heavy armor was either left behind due to a lack of fuel or parts, or destroyed. The majority of the armor reserves were used and depleted, and the Luftwaffe was also completely shattered by the end of the conflict. Number 6. The Battles of Lexington and Concord, the War for Independence. These were the first two battles of the war, and were thus the first time the Revolutionary Militia had to fight the British. They began famously with the shot heard round the world, a term coined by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Patriotic morale was boosted with a victory by the end of the fighting. Number 5. The Battle of Antietam, American Civil War. The bloodiest single day in American history, the combatants of the Battle of Antietam suffered an average of 1 casualty every 2 seconds for 12 hours, with 23,000 casualties by the end of the day, or 4 times the number of American casualties at D-Day. Photographs of the post-battle carnage, many of which were taken by a man named Alexander Gardner, reached American homes, thus causing the war to lose its seeming remoteness and romance. In addition, the Union repelled the first Confederate invasion of the North, prompting Lincoln to issue the Emancipation Proclamation later on after the Battle of Gettysburg, as he had been waiting for a victory, and although the battle was a tactical draw, it was a strategic victory for the Union, thus the slaves of the Confederate States were declared free. The defeat of the Confederates prevented Britain and France from becoming involved in the war, despite the fact that they were planning on soon recognizing the Confederacy, a development which could have spelled the defeat for the Union. Furthermore, Union morale was increased with the complete reversal of feeling, whereas the Confederates were disheartened. Number 4. The Invasion of Normandy, World War II. The largest amphibious assault in history, this famous invasion of France by the Allied forces to take the country back from Germany was successful, despite the immense losses, as it marked the beginning of the end for Hitler and the Nazi Party, catalyzing the eventual victory in Europe and paving the way for the ultimate end of World War II. Number 3. The Battle of Gettysburg Civil War. With this engagement, the Confederacy's last invasion of the North was ended, and the Confederates were never again able to muster the strength needed to invade the Union, making this battle, in combination with the Battle of Vicksburg, the turning point in the war. The battle also limited the Confederacy's power to negotiate with the Union, as, after the defeat, it was in a position of weakness. Union morale was bolstered after having suffered a series of losses, and public support for the war was renewed. After the clash, Lincoln gave the Gettysburg Address, in which he expanded and redefined the goal of the war from simply preserving the Union to fighting for the broader ideas of freedom and democracy. Number 2. The Battle of Midway, World War II. The only naval engagement to make our list, the Battle of Midway was one of the major turning points of the war in the Pacific and entirely halted Japanese advancement after 4 of Japan's largest aircraft carriers were destroyed and many of their best pilots and sailors were lost. After the battle, Japan had few significant victories. Taking the top spot on our list is the Battle of Saratoga, fought during the War for Independence. The revolutionaries' powerful defeat of the British showed their capability in the conflict, which subsequently proved to convince the French government to form an alliance with the Americans. The Battle of Saratoga was a turning point in the American Revolution, as it was a decisive victory and helped to increase American morale and even indicated which side would prove triumphant by the end of the war. Had the French not joined the revolutionary cause, it is at the very least possible, if not likely, that the Americans would not have won the Revolutionary War, preventing the formation of the country. Now it is time for our honorable mentions of battles that did not quite make our list. While providing one of the most famous photos from the war, the island of Iwo Jima was not strategically important to the United States military campaign. The attack on Pearl Harbor was kept off of our list due to its nature as less of a battle and more of a one-sided attack, as the name suggests. However, it deserves at least a mention for initiating American involvement in World War II. The Battle of Yorktown was yet another engagement which was quite influential in that it precipitated the peace talks between Britain and the revolutionary colonies. Battle of Pelennor Fields, fought between the Orcs of Mordor and the men of Gondor outside the last bastion of Minas Tirith. The battle drew Sauron's hosts out of Mordor, allowing Frodo Baggins and Samwise Gamgee to destroy the One Ring, bring peace to the people of Middle-earth. APUSH. The battle fought in room 123 between the intrepid souls of AP United States history, led by General Christopher Rayfield, and the College Board, was one of the longest and most arduous battles fought in human history, yet the brave students who crawled through the muck and mire for days on end eventually made it through to the other side. Some were irrevocably changed for better or for worse, but they made it out nonetheless.